I loves me some 1 degree of Chunky B.
Now, I just have to make a comment about Chunky B. Have you ever seen him looking so good?
The panel then includes actress Lainey Kazan, comedian Chunky B, and Playboy TV host Julie Strain. Chunky?
What was the question? All right, hang on a second. Are we rolling? You're the Travis. Are we rolling? Are we rolling? Hey, hold on, you're too hot.
You're peaking. Stop peeking.
Yeah, you're peaking.
When you act like Chunky, you peak.
That's right. You're crackling. I just roll taping. Are you cool?
I got audio. We're good.
Are we rolling? Because I tell you what, I'm really excited about. And gee, I'm not even making this up. Hey guys, welcome. Come on in. Pull the car in. It's the garage. It's the garage of love. We've got something awesome. But before we start talking about our awesomeness, I want to say thank you to our super fans, Karen McCoy, Donda Bear, Mary Kay. And I'm going to throw Ben Dukes in. I'm going to throw.
And thanks for spreading the love.
It's, for some reason, it keeps growing, and it keeps just sharing 1 degree of Chunky B, chunkyb.tv. We've got a great show. I'm going to try to keep it semi-non-emotional, but it's going to be emotional. But before we go anywhere, across the table of love, please give it up for the executive producer of Love, Gary Adler, representing our sponsor, Venice Duck.
I love the duck. I love the Lucky Duck. It's my favorite. Chunky, thanks for the introduction. And folks at home, if you're going to buy something on Amazon, make sure you go through chunkyb.tv. Hit the Amazon button. It doesn't cost you a dime. It gives us a little bit of money, and we will buy the Travis's sandwich.
Another sandwich. Hey,
Hungry guys.
Guys, real quick, I didn't mean to scream into the mic, but the Wizard of the Knobs, Travis Spencer, the man that makes the world go round.
I don't know what's happening, but this intro has a totally different tone to the way the rest of the podcast is going to be. I'm just going to let you guys know right now because I'm fucking psychic.
Okay.
And you know the reason why?
Why does Chunky look like he's been crying?
Because I'm emotional
emotional.
roller coaster.
Yeah, he's a mess. He's a wreck.
Look me in the eyes. Thank you for your undivided attention. Every once in a while we get a special person. They're all special. Not in that way. But I want to let you know what a great honor it is to have an NFL professional former player from the Denver Broncos. He goes by the name
I'll edit that out. Try it again.
I will explain this. No, I will explain this later. Say hello to Nate Jackson, and here's his book. What's it called? Slow Getting Up.
Nate Jackson in the house.
Slow introducing Nate Jackson. Hey.
I will say this: our 4th author, but our first NFL player. So congratulations.
Right. Thanks, guys.
I want to let you know we will tweet later about why this introduction is so smooth, casual.
It is.
Love it.
It's smooth as hell. It is. I like it.
All right.
I went online. I did some research, and normally I don't do research. You can write, motherfucker.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks.
So you got your head banged, and you could still spell.
Yeah. Well, you know, for the majority of my career, I was a wide receiver. I was a wide receiver in high school and college. Wide receiver in my first 2 years in the league. And then I moved to tight end. And so it wasn't until the last 4 years of my football career where I really had to bang heads like that. And I actually played a lot of special teams, so there was a lot of head-on collisions with that as well. But, yeah, man, I was able to escape with my mind intact. I think a lot of that has to do, like a lot of the deteriorating players' mental condition has to do with psychological stuff, like not knowing what to do when they're done playing, you know, when the pads come off.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to hold this book and I'm going to make sure that everyone fucking sees this. Yeah. Because you've written for other things. You went right into this sports thing. You went right into your positions and shit. I don't care about that right now.
Right on.
Because you mentioned dementia.
Yeah.
You mentioned concussions. But you still maintain. Are you? Does that freak you out? Is there any repercussions on your concussions?
You know, it's hard to tell because when you're done playing football, you have to confront a lot of big questions, like who am I without this game? You know, what do I do now that football's over? And a lot of guys get depressed just because they have to deal with that question. Not necessarily there's actually certifiable medical, shit wrong with their brain. And so the thing that happens to guys who play this game, the disease they get is called CTE. And you can't see it until you cut open the brain after they're dead. And so there's no way to diagnose it in a living player. A lot of guys had concussions. Some guys had more than others. It's hard to tell what exactly causes it. But, I mean, I get depressed sometimes, but who doesn't? You know what I mean?
Exactly. But do you blame it on that? Or is that just natural, like
I don't know.
human nature?
I can't tell, and I really don't want
to. Do you judge it?
No. Like the game?
No. Do you judge your depression on, like, fuck, I could have taken one big hit from... oh, God, who did that hit you took? You took
Willie McGinnis.
Well, Willie McGinnis, man. Willie McGinnis didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that homie would have been ejected these days for sure, man. That was a hell of a hit, right? That was helmet to helmet, shoulder to helmet.
Yeah, it was like shoulder to helmet. But, I mean, I don't blame Willie for it. I don't blame the game for it. I'm not mad at anybody for it. Nobody made me do it.
Right.
I did what I was feeling compelled to do at all moments. I was chasing what I believed in, and it was a game that I had a lot of passion for. So I don't really blame anyone or have any bad feelings about it. I did what I felt like I had to do at the time.
When did you start playing football?
I started in high school.
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
didn't play Pop Warner?
I didn't, and it was not because I didn't want to. I wanted to. My mom and dad wouldn't let me.
Wow.
So my mom, especially my mom, she was worried about the game and the violence of the game, and she wanted me to develop my bones. And I was a swimmer and a soccer player growing up, so that I was, more than busy with those two. I played football out in the street with my friends and at the park, but I didn't put on the helmet.
I'm sorry, Nate. You know something? You're loud. I'm loud. I want the microphone closer to his mouth. Can you slide that over?
He pulled
Yeah,
it away.
I didn't want it to cover in his face,
Right on,
because I know it does on the guest.
How old are you, dude?
35.
You look younger. You must moisturize. Okay, check this out. And listen to me, executive producer. Gary Adler.
Yes.
I mean, we can just recap some of the shit that's in his book, and I'm not calling it shit. I'm just talking about information. But what I love about him, he's got almost like a guest that's going to be coming up soon, Pat O'Brien.
Right.
The balls to write from your heart and your soul, and I love the fact that what's that thing you said about the Cleveland Browns coach? I mean,
I said a lot of stuff about that, man. I mean, my career ended in Cleveland, and it was like, it was some severe brainwashing going on with that man. I mean,
Mike Smith.
No,
Eric
Brown. Mangini.
Oh,
Eric,
Mangini.
Mangina.
That's right.
Mangina.
Yeah.
But he would call guys out to stand up in the middle of meetings and recite mantras that he had written around the facility in block letters, and all kinds of really arbitrary statistics that he made everyone memorize. And that's not how an athlete's mind works at all.
Right.
They don't think like coaches, and the coaches who try to make these athletes think like them end up filling their athletes' minds with a bunch of bullshit, and they can't play well.
You seem dedicated to that. You seem like there's a message that other football players don't have the balls to say. Am I wrong? Am I wrong or right?
No, you're right. And the reason why is because most of the guys you hear from are former stars who have a vested interest in, still wearing that cape and still having you believe that they're, this superhero, and they're still carrying water for the NFL, and you recognize their name. And so, they have a lot of things in their mind and reasons why they can't be honest. I don't have a name that anyone recognized. And, so I was able to say what I felt.
What's your relationship with the NFL right now?
I mean, I'm a player advocate, really. I try to help the players with these stories about, the humanity of the experience. I don't have any relationship with NFL as a business or a corporation. I don't talk to anybody from the front office. I don't talk to any coaches. I talk to some players, but I don't even talk to that many players. Really, when you stop playing, you kind of drift away and nobody really sees each other again.
You got a pension?
Not until I'm 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Once again, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Sorry.
This is you're one of the first guys that I really, when I went online, I really dug researching. And I want you to elaborate and bust down when you did a hit, you wanted to make it feel like you were dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wrote that in there because when I first got into the league, I was on the practice squad, so I wasn't playing in the games. So I would suit up and play in practices, but I wasn't playing in the games. And you don't really know what it's like until you're in the games. Practices are very intense, and you have to play well on a daily basis to get to even be on the team. But I wanted to get hit. Football's about being tough.
So you'd rather be hit than
No, I
do
like
the
to
hitting.
hit and get hit. I like to hit and be
Okay.
hit. Sometimes you get hit, sometimes you hit. If you haven't been knocked on your ass and run over, you haven't been playing the game long enough. Everybody gets run through eventually because you get caught in awkward positions and you have to take on a fucking 300-pound guy running down the field. It's your job after all, so you put your face on his face. And sometimes you take the shit end of that stick, but it's part of, a rite of passage. And so you wear those scars proudly. You prove to your teammates that you're tough, that you can take those hits, and you earn a seat at that table.
There's no method to the madness of 1 degree of Chunky B, so we're going to bounce around.
Let's bounce.
Do you like the way the NFL's going currently?
I don't like the leadership. I don't like
Correct.
I don't like the media aspect of it. I think it's getting a little too big for it. I think there's too many hands in the cookie jar. There's too many people who see money in these players and try to take advantage of them, and these players really don't have a say in any of it.
Is football like crack for American men, basically?
Yeah.
Because it's bad for the players. It's bad. It's just. I mean, it's a violent game, but we can't help watching it. Like it's like a train wreck or something.
But it's crack for American men, but the American men don't have to suffer the consequences of smoking that crack. They get just to watch it.
Right.
And so they,
It's like gladiators. Like,
their opinion is shaped by a lack of feeling that fucking consequence of the hits.
Yeah.
And so of course they're gonna say, shut up and play, man. Hit them harder, run faster, do all this more. But the players are the ones who feel the pain and who have to deal with it for the rest of their lives. That being said, the football players don't think it's too rough, or they don't want to be protected.
Right.
They know it's violent. They're ready for the violence. They just, I think they need to be paid well for it and consulted a little more when considering, what they're risking as far as their health care. The way they're able to talk to the media, the strategy, offensive and defensive, they're not consulted on any of those fronts at all. So I think that the players should have a little more say in the product, but they're not trying to be protected.
Nate, were you an intense kid in high school?
Was I intense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you violent in high school?
Not, I mean, of course, if it needed to happen. I mean, I wasn't getting in a lot of fights, but I liked physicality. I like the rough stuff. I like the dangerous.
But you like to find a way to make it violent as long as it's legal.
Yeah, for sure.
With a helmet and pads.
But it's been that way since I was a kid. I've always been into brawling and wrestling and fighting and rough games and stuff, and it wasn't anything personal. It was just I felt that visceral connection with the world, and I like to get bruised up and bleed, and I always had stitches or scabs or bruises or whatever.
What position did you play in high school in soccer?
I played defense. I was a sweeper, stopper.
No. Were you a good swimmer?
Yeah.
What was your stroke?
Freestyle as a sprinter in high school, but I grew up swimming everything.
You went to a fucking college that nobody's heard of.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That college just dropped their football program this
Really?
week. Yeah.
How do you go to school? You know something?
yeah, I mean, he was an undrafted free agent. And
No
I
doubt.
want to talk
no
about
doubt.
that.
I
because
do.
that's
I want
really
to talk about
cool.
that too.
Yeah.
And we just went through a couple minutes of intenseness
Without talking about Lucky.
without
Lucky
even talking
Duck,
about
yeah.
our sponsor or anything. We're fucking-
Lucky Duck. But I was drinking that intenseness.
it's Venice Duck. It's not Lucky Duck.
Yeah, this is Lucky Duck.
It says Lucky Duck.
Are we going too tense? Are we going like?
Well, I mean, I think we're kind of.
'Cause I love this guy.
We're
I
cutting
love-
to the core pretty quick. You know what I mean? We haven't really touched the outer shell yet.
Let's
Yes,
fucking
sir.
crack that egg open, man.
Okay.
We ripped the Band-Aid off like in the first minute.
Okay, you know something? And Wiz, dude, you can jump in at any time. And I know what you can. Can I ask Nate a question that I think you're about to ask?
Yeah.
The babes chasing the jersey.
Yeah, let's talk about NFL
Many
groupies, man.
chicks were you banging every fucking place you went out? Because I know those chicks, and you called them jersey chasers. Fucking bust that down. Let's loosen up a little bit.
Well, there are plenty of opportunities to get laid if you play in the NFL. You just got to choose which ones you're fucking because you don't want to be with the same women that your friends are the night before, and every once in a while you see the same girls around and you start to realize that they're making their rounds around the locker room. You don't want that.
Right.
There's actually a misconception that when you go on the road in the NFL, you know, it's like an orgy in every hotel in every city. It's not the case at all. When we would go on an away game, we're only there for one night. We get there around 4 or 5 o'clock the night before the game. We have meetings from 7 to like 9:30, then bed checks at 11:15. And there's...
Did they knock on the door?
Absolutely. And they come in if you don't answer it. You got to say, in here, and then they walk away to the next one.
In a hotel?
Yeah, and they have security and often actual police officers manning the exits on your floors. Damn. Nobody comes on or off. It's stupid, actually.
Have you ever been fined?
No, I never got fined.
Change the subject.
I followed the rules.
Change the subject. What do you think about Warren Sapp's issues?
What issues?
Did you not hear about he got caught beating up a prostitute?
Oh, yeah.
You
don't want to beat up prostitutes. You're just supposed to have sex with them.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, does he need a prostitute? You know what I mean? Like,
but
he's Warren Sapp. I mean,
well, the thing is, like, you know, I don't know.
No
yeah,
problem?
a lot of guys do. A lot of guys love to pay for it, you know, and in a lot of football players don't always have the best sense when it comes to dealing with people from the opposite sex or even dealing with people outside of the game. They just have a hard time dealing with real world problems, communicating with words.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But our reality was, you know, hands and fists and our bodies. But
were you a smart kid in high school?
I didn't study really hard.
I'm asking random fucking
I know.
questions.
I wanted to ask a couple questions too, though. Let loose a little bit, dude. A little bit.
Okay, run, buddy.
All right, take it down a notch.
You know, I do apologize. I do apologize. I find them fascinating.
No, I know. I do too. I do too. But on that note, I wanted to know if was he always
down, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm hogging the fucking mic.
No, it's
Go
okay.
Go.
I wanted to know: did you always write? Did you always enjoy writing, or did this something happen after you were done with the NFL?
Well, I was always good at writing, but I never really started writing for myself, for pleasure or whatever until I was about 19 years old. A friend of mine passed away, and my mother gave me a journal and told me it'll help write in it. And so that's when I kind of started working out my thoughts, writing, just to try to, as a cathartic experience. And then in college, like when I was 21 years old, when I transferred to Menlo, I started writing for the school newspaper, and I started to realize that I had a style and you know, had something to say, and I wanted to say it. So I kind of ran with it there. And then when I got signed to the Broncos and went to NFL Europe, they asked me to keep a journal, an online journal. So I wrote a weekly journal about my experience there, and the Bronco faithful really liked that. And then I did that for a couple of years while I was on the team. And then when I was done playing in the NFL and I knew I was done, that's when I started kind of writing these freelance articles for different websites and newspapers and stuff like that. And then that got me the book deal, and then I wrote the book.
So cool. And people at home, just Google Nate Jackson and read some of the articles online. I read a ton of them today. He uses big words, too.
Multi-syllable. Yeah. Okay, can I jump in?
Please.
How much money did you make at the top of your game?
You mean in a
Cash.
year or?
Yeah,
or?
in a year.
My most lucrative year was I made like $600,000 that year, and I had a signing bonus of about $400,000. So I made $1 million one year, but
Did you play in the playoffs?
That was my last year. So I got cut after that, and each year before that there was no signing bonus, and it was less than $600,000, and it jumps up about $80,000 per year you play. Yeah. And so I think my rookie year I was on the practice squad. That was about $85,000 for the year, and then the next year I made the active roster, and my salary was like $300,000, and it went up $80,000.
Were you able to sock any of that away?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
I was. Yeah.
He lives in
I
his
mean,
neighborhood.
it's dwindling though. It's dwindling. It's dwindling. His writing
Everyone go
gig.
out and buy the book.
It's not quite as lucrative as.
But it's a bestseller, right?
I mean, I don't know. This says New York Times bestseller, but it should be with an asterisk because what that means is it was an nonfiction bestseller for a couple of weeks when they dropped the price down to $199. So
Anyone approach you for a movie deal or anything yet?
you know, I'm dealing with a Hollywood fucking nightmare right now with these people who wanted to option my book in accordance with this film, and have just been giving me the runaround. So
Welcome to Hollywood.
yeah, man, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Can you stick around for another?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes.
Oh my
you know,
God, that went by quick.
No, it did. No, it did.
Yeah.
You know what it means when it goes by quick? You're a good fucking guest, man.
Oh, thanks,
right.
man. Thanks.
Chunky, let's
Okay.
plug a little bit before we take a break.
Look at me. Look at me in the eye, people. We got Nate motherfucking Jackson. Okay, not one of the Jackson 5. It's one of the fucking Denver Broncos. And if you don't know who the Denver Broncos is, go join your friends in motherfucking Al Qaeda.
Or ISIS.
Okay? Okay? All right, I'll track you down and fucking poke you in the eye. Here's what I need from you, super fans. Fucking Karen McCoy and fucking DeBear and Mary Kay and Ben Dukes and all that. Spread the love, because you know something? We're not afraid to fucking bust it down. The NFL is a fucking monster of a billion. It's a money-making machine.
That's a non-profit organization.
It's a non-profit organization.
Yeah.
And you know something? And I've got no problem saying I work there every once in a while.
I got no problem with that.
But look at me. Go to the website. Tell me that you dig this. Share it. Go to Amazon. Fucking buy the Wiz another sandwich. We got enough money a couple months ago to get a sandwich for the motherfucker. Okay.
One sandwich.
Yeah, was it good?
It was a 12-inch.
Good. Thank you.
It was two
thanks to Adler's
sandwich-
brother.
That's right.
Right. ChunkyB.tv, 1 degree of Chunky B in the garage of love. We got Nate Jackson. If you fucking don't come back for the second half, I'll poke you in the motherfucking eye. We're going to be right back. Adler, you got something to close
No,
on?
I'm good, man. Let's go.
All right. See you in just a second. Enjoy the fucking halftime. Bam. The duck is flying. Hey, you guys, Chunky B. 1 degree of Chunky B in the garage of love. And you know if you want to get your quack on, you go to Venice Duck. And I'm not even kidding. This is a good beer. Tell your friends. Don't be afraid to get your quack on. Dude, this is actually a really good beer.
It's fucking great beer.
We're so lucky.
Oh shit, I'm still recording.
Hey, you guys, music provided by Play Up Music. That's playupmusic.com.
Hey, I'm Nate Jackson, formerly of the Denver Broncos, author of Slow Getting Up, and I'm on with 1 degree of Chunky B.
You know what's cool before we start this second half?
Yeah.
Lucky Duck. Venice Duck.
Yeah, man.
I would just want to say, John Henry and Christian Warren, thank you for bringing your fucking A game. I swear to God. Even Nate Jackson's over there. Nate, put your glass up and let these guys know that you're enjoying.
That's right. I'm enjoying the fuck out of this.
Yeah. Dude, you got a website or anything? You want to tell people where we can?
No, I don't have a website, but you can get my book on Amazon or your local Barnes
Are you
and
a
Noble.
Twitter?
You know, I have a Twitter handle.
Yeah.
It's at Nathan Sirius. I don't really use it though.
Do you masturbate?
All the time. Twice today.
Important question.
Nice. Chunky's got you beat by 3.
Dude, what's slowing you down, man? I got you by 15
I'm getting
years,
old. Shit, man. Impressive
ridiculous.
stuff.
Hey, can I ask a serious question? Do you think
course.
this concussion thing's going away, or did Roger Goodell sweep it under the rug good enough?
No, man. It's not going away.
No way.
You know, the way to make it go away is to provide lifetime health care for all former players. That will help. Because
From the start, not when you turn 55.
Right.
Right.
Well, what happens is you get 5 years of post-career health coverage when you're done, and then it runs out, and then you're on your own. And the money goes away. They can't get health care. They got too many, injuries, and they're broke, and they don't have how to get treatment, not only for their body but for their brains and these psychological issues they're having. And a lot of lawyers are seeing opportunities to sue the league, and so it's going to get mired in litigation. And I think that's the only way the league can really get taken down, because the game is great. The players love to play. The fans love to watch it. It's a great product on television. It's not going anywhere unless it gets fucked up in the courts.
Right.
I want to let you know, I truly believe the NFL is a huge worldwide. It's not like baseball where you have a salary cap. You got profit sharing. Even the network, NFL Network, shares the profits with the owners.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
It's the only reason why television exists. You realize that?
Is football?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, public television.
News and football now.
Public television it was saved by NFL because
If
everything's
the
going to
NFL
Netflix.
goes online, it's over for television.
Can't
What
argue with
if the players disband from the NFL, create their own league, and sell the games on pay-per-view?
Never happened.
Dude, I don't know. I like your
Yeah, probably didn't
enthusiasm. As a football player, did you feel hostage? Did you feel like you were being held hostage by the league?
I definitely felt that I couldn't speak up for myself or be myself within the system. You know, you're never asked what you think. They never say, "Hey, Nate, what do you think about this game plan this week?" Or, you know, anything like that.
Was it shut your mouth and play?
Shut your mouth and play. Yeah, we would sit in 4 hours of meetings every fucking day. Every single day, 4 hours in the same chair listening to coaches speak about whatever. Watching
Taking
film.
notes?
You know, they want you to, but I'm in here writing poems and shit.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Nice.
and you know, we would do, jerking off under the desk for sure, man. But yeah, man, I mean, it was these long, really, really boring meetings, and we're not speaking. You know, we're not supposed to speak unless it's, "Hey, coach, on that one play, you know, what are we supposed to do again?" It's not like, "Hey, coach, I don't agree with that,"
Right.
or "Hey, coach, let's try something else," or "Hey, coach, fuck off. You can't do any of that," or you're gone.
What was your lowest point when you were in Denver? When was the last, like, what the fuck am I doing? You were, what, 7 strong years?
6.
6? Then you went over to Cleveland? At the
Cleveland
end?
for 1 week.
And then they cut you?
Then I got cut, yeah.
Was it depressing?
Yeah, there was some low moments for sure. I mean,
I want the exact detail of, like, when you were in Cleveland and they brought you up to the front office and said, "Dude, you're going." Did you feel that you were going?
you know, it was such a fucked up situation.
Hallway?
Well, it was a really fucked up situation because I had been cut by the Broncos about 4 months earlier. And so I spent that summer training and getting ready and thinking I still had some good years in me and working out for teams. And I worked out for a couple teams and didn't get signed. They flew me out to Cleveland. I worked out. I had a good workout. They brought me upstairs and I had a physical, and I waited upstairs for 3 hours to talk to this GM. And I finally talked to him, and he said, "Well, we like you a lot, but we can't sign you today. We're going to send you home, but be ready." So I went home, and about 4 days later, they called me and said, we got a roster spot for you. Get back on a plane. Got on a plane, came back, and was there for 1 week. And the offense was incredibly complicated. It was a system I'd never been involved in before. There was a lot of disarray on the team. Guys, nobody really knew what was going on. And so I was just trying to learn it for that first week. You know,
Who was the QB?
It was Brady Quinn.
Oh, Brady Quinn, yeah.
Brady Quinn and what's the other guy's name? Yeah, it was Brady Quinn. And so I didn't really get a lot of run at all that week. We had a game at the end of the week. And the day after the game, I came in for a workout. And then the day after that was our next day of practice before the last week of the preseason. And I thought, okay, this is going to be my week to kind of digest the material and get on the field and show them what I can do. And I walked in the facility at 7:30 in the morning, and there's a designated guy on each team who handles cutting people.
Right.
He's the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
That's what they call him. And I walk in the front door, and I see him leaning on the wall up there, and I'm like, fuck. Whoever he's waiting for, you know, tough shit for them. But I walk in, I see him perk up. I'm like, no fucking way, man. I've been here 1 week. And he comes up. He's like, "Nate, I need to talk to you upstairs." And that was it.
What a beating. And that was your last day in the NFL?
That was it.
God.
That's how it ended.
Do you have parents that were, like, tied into your day-to-day operations?
No, they didn't really know. I mean, when they read this book, they learned what I went through.
Do you have cousins and brothers and sisters?
All that, yeah. None of them are athletes. I didn't come from an athletic family at all.
So they have to be proud that at least you dabbled, I think, so impressively, because billions of kids grow up and want to do that. You did it, bro. You fucking snapped into it. You got a hit that rang your bell. You got the taste.
Right.
You got to taste the highs and the lows, the bullshit. What was the most bullshit, like, holy fuck, I can't believe that's going on in a locker room moment? I mean, just people fighting, teammates fighting.
I mean, fights were all the time. You know,
that was common.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's a it's a violent thing that's going on out there on the field. It doesn't always get contained in there. So you come in the locker room, and sometimes people have a problem with each other, and it spills over there. But it's rare. But yeah, man, I mean, for the most part, the guys got along really well. It was always the feeling like it was us versus them. Us as the players, them as everyone else. The coaches, the media, the fucking fans, everybody. No one knows what we're going through. And so we were a family in there. And in Denver, Mike Shanahan did a really good job of, you know.
Did you respect them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Everybody else?
Yeah, for the most part, everybody did respect him because he treated us really well. Didn't beat us up more than we needed to, be beat up. He tried to protect our bodies as the season wore on and stuff like that.
Who was the best DB you faced?
Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
Patriots.
No, he was Bronco. And I faced him every day at practice, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So it was pretty awesome. I got to sharpen my skills against, one of the best corners in the league. Damn. And what you learn when you're in the NFL is that the separation between the shittiest guy on the roster and the best guy on the roster is like, a millimeter.
And every single person in the NFL was the best.
Right.
In for miles around where they grew up, right?
Exactly.
Like,
and
they
so,
were it.
And so that's part of this shit I don't like about the media, where a starter will get hurt and their backup will go in, and it's like, who's this piece of shit going in? We can't win with him. He sucks at football. What's he doing out there? What they don't understand is this guy is a badass. Everybody who's out there is a badass. You got to be a badass on a day-to-day basis, or else you don't stay on the team. Every day is like a game at practice, and you got to bring it every day. That's one thing I miss about the NFL, is having to be your best every day.
Yeah. And Wiz, and I know that you're such a fucking football fan and a fan of
Well, not
sport.
really. He's a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
Hey.
But
They had a good season,
9-1.
Yeah,
Until Ryan Lindley fucking came in.
9-1.
Poor Ryan Lindley, man.
Bounce in here, dude, because I don't want you to be shy with this fucker.
Well, I'm waiting for my big question at the end.
No.
I'm going big. I mean, my question, we've covered a little bit, like the future of the NFL, where we think we're going with all this concussion shit. Like, I think Junior Seau is the big one right now, right? Because
Right. Yeah,
the
people are
family
committing
refused to take
suicide.
any money from the NFL, and so there's huge litigation coming from their family. And these
Right.
guys are shooting themselves in the chest so that their brain can be examined as soon as they get done, right?
Right.
It's fucked up.
That's scary.
Totally.
And when the
And-
dude,
and that
the
thing
dude
is-
from Ohio State too, he fucking just
Yeah.
offed
Yep.
himself too.
Yep. And the thing is, you can't, like I was saying before, you can't diagnose that until they're dead.
Right.
And so a lot of these former players are freaking out. It's like, well, I forgot my keys. Is that CTE? Or is that just
Right.
life?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it starts to spiral downward, and you think every bad thought you have, every depressed day is your brain disease getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, man, it's kind of scary. I mean, I know the league is trying, but I think a lot of it is public relations. And actually, the film that I was going to be involved with this book is about the CTE issue.
What does that stand for the
It
folks at
stands
home?
for chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was discovered by this African doctor named Bennett Amalu, and Will Smith is playing that dude. Alec Baldwin's in it, and a bunch of other people. But it's going to come out on Christmas Day, and Junior Seau, that scene is in it. Andre Waters shooting himself. Dave Duerson offing himself with a shotgun in the chest. A lot of really sad shit.
Golly.
Yeah.
Well, and there was that documentary too that PBS
Yeah.
and the NFL were
Frontline,
doing, and so like ESPN pulled out last minute, right?
Right.
Like, what the fuck's that all about? It's so shady. It's like it's too big to fail.
Yeah, ESPN is married with the NFL, and so yeah, they saw that as kind of not very flattering for the NFL, and they didn't realize how bad it was going to be, and they pulled out last minute. That just shows you that those two are going to go down together, Right. And if we want to talk about this kind of stuff, we can't rely on ESPN to talk about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nate, are you protecting anybody? Is there anything that you're not saying?
No, not at all, man.
He said he smokes weed. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
think we're
got
pretty
nothing- so what?
And he talks a lot about karma. Are you kind of a spiritual guy at times?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like what comes around goes around kind of thing?
Yeah. I took a lot of care not to throw anyone under the bus in this book. That's one thing I didn't want to do. A lot of people or a lot of former players write books, and Jose Canseco, for example, is just naming names and talking about everybody fucking up.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't the point. The point was to kind of tell a human, honest tale about what it's like in the NFL. And so I threw myself under the bus if I had to. But yeah, I'm not protecting anyone.
That's cool.
How did you? I know Adler guide me on this because I'm actually, and Nate, I'm blown away about your honesty. I'm blown away about your integrity, your character, your values. That shit I dig about you. I think you got some set of balls to just fucking throw it down. What would you change in the rules of today's defense, offense? Is there? Are you agreeing? I know I'm bouncing over.
I
Hold
will
on.
say
Let
this.
me
Go
finish my
ahead.
sentence. Are you happy with the rule changes about protecting the fucking wide receiver, the tight ends, or are they being a bunch of pussies? Your thoughts?
I mean, it's not that they're being pussies. It's just that sometimes they base these rules on public relations and the perception. Like, for example, the linemen, the linebackers, running backs, they're hitting with their heads all day. You can't not hit with your head. If I run at you as fast as I can, my head is first, you know? And so it's impossible not to hit with your head. And so legislating these like egregious secondary hits that it's obvious that everyone can see it, you know, and protecting the quarterback, they protect the quarterbacks a little bit too much, you know.
So it's unnatural
The football,
to lift your head up right before you hit somebody.
Yeah, it's actually impossible. And so football players are not trying to have you protect their heads, and it's kind of just the league is very aware that they're going to be sued and there's going to be concussion issues, and they're trying to mitigate that by basically putting it on the player, saying we created these rules to protect you, and if you didn't do it, then it's your fault. It's not our fault. We tried to protect you. You kept hitting with your head. You're the one to blame. So that's what's going on there.
Now, I've had actually semi-communication on I'm sorry for being so vague, Randy Moss. And he got fined so often. He would get fined for having his knee, his pants too high.
Right.
I mean, it comes down to where it's actually not a football uniform. It's a fucking wardrobe. And there's dudes, I don't know if a lot of people know this, there's dudes designated on the sidelines watching wardrobe fucking malfunctions.
That's
Not
a
just your
branding
pants,
thing.
but
That's
your
a branding
socks.
thing.
The stripe in your sock has to be midway up your calf. Your jersey has to be tucked in. If it comes untucked for more than one series, you get fined. Different shoes, fucking wristbands, tape, gloves, you name it. All of it is subject. Chin straps, you know, all that stuff.
And
you get fined for all
they
that.
were writing messages for a while, and I think that all stopped, right?
Well, the guy, you know the dude from Chicago. Come on, the badass quarterback who has
McMahon.
concussion problems.
Oh yeah,
Did you just say
Jim
Vince
McMahon?
Did you just say Vince?
I did, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Venice duck.
My father was Jim McMahon's 8th grade teacher.
Oh wow,
No shit.
Yeah, in San Jose.
that's crazy.
Awesome. And you grew up in San Jose.
I did, yeah.
And were you a stoner?
Yeah.
Can we talk to him about being an undrafted, basically walking on and trying out for an NFL team?
Great question.
Yeah.
You know something? Fuck it. Tell us what that feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so at Menlo College, which was, you mentioned it, really small, 500 students. We had 500 or 600 students. We had about 100 guys on the football team. So, but we were in an area in the Bay Area where we had a lot of former NFL guys around. We had Doug Cosby was a coach of ours, Ken Marjoram, Keith Millard, Guy McIntyre. They were on our coaching staff. And Bill Walsh used to come to the home games. And I had some huge games in front of him, and kind of got the ball rolling. He said some good things about me, and to some reporters, they wrote some stories. Scouts started coming around, and then after college, I put up some huge numbers in college. I had 105 catches my senior year, 101 catches my junior year. A lot of numbers. We were throwing the ball like crazy, and so after my senior year, Bill Walsh kind of helped put the word out, and I got signed to the 49ers as a free agent, and I was worried. I wasn't worried, but I was curious as to what it was going to be like at the next level. Everyone told me it was so fast. They were so good. How was I going to do this? But I got there, and it was the first mini camp, and I realized these are just guys. They're guys. They have weaknesses. They're just human beings, and I had a good camp. My first camp, I was catching passes and getting open on their starting guys, and that really gave me the confidence that I needed going forward. And after that, I was on a roll.
That's awesome.
I know it is awesome, and I thank you for letting us breathe on it. I think I don't get it. I don't know. He's actually is it like casual?
That's because you were the second string goalie.
Yeah, on my high school. Dude, do you have to bring that shit up in front of a guest?
You didn't quite get there. You know what I mean?
Hey, you're on the team.
Well, that's a stretch too. He wore the
You
uniform.
got a uniform, man.
Yeah.
You handed out the towels in the locker room.
But
That's
you're from
good.
San Jose. You didn't surf?
No. I skateboarded, though.
Skateboarded and
Yeah, I
smoked
grew up as a
pot
skateboarder,
and got to second base on a regular basis with the chicks?
Yeah, man. On a regular basis.
Right on.
They put out in San Jose.
What's in the future for you?
Yeah, what's next, man?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep writing, and you know.
Do you have a regular writing gig that you do weekly or anything like that?
No, I mean I wrote for Deadspin quite a bit, but I don't write for them anymore. I don't know, man. I've written about football so much, and it's just like, you know, selling this book. I've been kind of trying to get my voice out there and stuff, and I've taken a little step back in the last couple of months and just kind of, you know, reassess what I want to write about and trying to figure out some new ideas and stuff. But I'm going to keep being creative and keep trying to advocate for my peers, because, you know, no one else is really talking about it like this, and no one's going to, because everyone's afraid of what people are going to say about them or whatever it is, and I don't really give a fuck about that. So.
Hey, listen, I want to let you know everybody in this room is 100% heterosexual. But will you be our friend?
Absolutely, man.
All right.
I'm your neighbor, man. I'm your
Real
neighbor.
football player.
Will you come
Holy
over? Will you come over, smoke some pot?
Absolutely.
And will you just like fucking chill? And
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
we're just this is the tip of the iceberg with all the shit we could talk about, really.
Are you
Yeah.
a hockey fan by any chance?
No.
Neither am I. So fuck it.
Yeah, fuck you.
They snuck it in the
Hey, you guys, we're all dialed into one degree of Chunky B in the Garage of Love, but we never end a podcast without giving us the Wizard of the Knobs, Travis Spencer, all our undivided attention, and he's about to say something maybe way off target.
super cerebral.
Yeah.
know.
So let's all give us Travis love.
I'm gonna skip my Illuminati Super Bowl halftime question this time. We'll bring that in next time. My question is about Pat Tillman. Did you ever have a chance to meet him, and kind of what's your take on that whole fucked up situation?
Yeah, man. Actually, he's from San Jose also. And I went to middle school with his two little brothers. And when I was in high school, we had a passing league tournament. And he came back from college, and he was reffing our passing league tournament. I remember him out there that day, shirt off, blonde hair flowing, just big, huge jack dude. And we were all looking at him like, man, we all want to be like that guy. And he went to Arizona, and he went to the Cardinals and played with Jake Plummer, a good friend of mine. And when he died, it hit Jake really hard, because Jake was a good friend of his, and Jake went to the funeral, and it was tough, because, you know, he represented for guys like me and like Jake, like this very rare football player who's also this cerebral guy who followed his principles, who followed his gut, and went out there, and, you know, none of us really know what happened, but it was really sad. It was really sad in San Jose. It was really sad for the community and for his family, and you know, but his legend lives on in San Jose, and he's inspired a lot of kids like me and other kids in San Jose who look up to him and try to be like him.
Awesome.
Well, thank
Good
you, man.
question,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Damn, Travis.
That's why we love you, Travis.
Yeah. Nice one.
All right, check it out, people. Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. You just hung out in the Garage of Love with a badass motherfucker by the name of Nate Jackson. I think Denver Broncos was just a stepping stone, a springboard into what his future is about. He is full of tenacity. I want to say thank you for being here. Adler, thank you for being the best executive producer ever in the history of podcasting.
You're welcome.
Thank you, the Wizard of Knobs, of the technology wisdom that you bring to the world.
Wizard of Knobs. Like it.
My name is Chunky
Get
B,
the
and you've been
t-shirt.
dialed into 1 Degree of Chunky B on ChunkyB.tv. Please share the love. Here it is right here. Pow, pow, pow. Give it out. We are DONE. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, guys.